Celia?
Oh, yes, I'd love a drink.
A drink? Oh, no, dear.
Hey, it's a good idea. All this talk about weddings is making me thirsty.
You got it, Edward. I would like one, too.
You shouldn't really have another drink, dear, on an empty stomach.
Not my fault we're holding dinner.
Well, we can go ahead and start without Grant and Alan, you know.
Wonder what's taking him so long.
Well, Alan said he wanted to confer with Grant about one of his patients.
Grant is so very accommodating, isn't he? Well, what do you think about my suggestion, dear?
Oh, what was that?
About the gazebo, dear. I thought it would be the perfect place for you and Grant to cut the cake.
Oh, yes, that would be lovely.
Ah, speaking of lovely, how did your fitting go yesterday after I left?
Fitting?
Yes, for your wedding dress.
You know, your mind seems to be wandering today, Celia.
Well, of course it is, dear. She's probably thinking about her wedding day.
Yes, probably. So how did it go?
Perfectly. The dress is perfect. Everything is perfect.
What's perfect?
Well, at last.
We're late.
We were just discussing how perfect your wedding day is going to be, honey.
Of course, I'm marrying the perfect bride.
Listen, I had a great idea. Why don't we hire that little chamber orchestra that played at the museum gala last month?
Good idea, Alan. This modern music sets my teeth on edge.
And I know the exact repertoire. We must have Chopin, Liszt, all the romantics.
Well, maybe we should ask Celia if she has any suggestions. After all, it's her wedding, isn't it?
Excuse me.
What got into her?
I don't know.
Well, I think what just ran out of here is not exactly a very happy bride to be.
Celia is unhappy, dear.
Because it's obvious that Celia's unhappy.
Well, what's she got to be unhappy about? If you ask me, Grant's a prize catch. Once he's in private practice, they're going to be rolling in money.
Well, she's not worried about money, Edward. She has plenty of her own.
Yeah, thanks to dear old cousin Herbert.
I mean, really, what's her problem? I mean, he's obviously in love with her.
Usually, it's supposed to work two ways, my dear.
Do you mean that Celia doesn't love Grant?
No, I think she loves him in her own way.
What the devil does that mean?
What it means is I don't think that Celia wants to get married right now.
You know what? I think Monica may be right.
Of course I'm right.
Well, you know, come to think of it, I've been picking up on some strange vibes coming from the east wing of the house myself.
Vibes, dear? What are vibes? I don't understand.
Darling, I don't even think they're sleeping with each other.
Oh, Edward, really?
How do you know that?
Well, good Lord, he's always hanging all over Celia like a tent. If he were doing that in private, do you think he'd be doing it in public?
I don't think that's any of our business.
Listen, I wonder why she's holding out.
Possibly because she's found life more exciting around a construction site.
Whatever do you mean?
Dinner's on the table if you'd care to go in.
Oh, at last, I'm ravenous.
Stella, I'm terribly sorry I held you up.
Oh, it was no bother. Everything's hot in the chafing dishes.
Well, don't you think we ought to wait for Celia and Grant?
Oh, I have a very strong feeling they're not going to be coming down.
Stella, would you mind lending Mrs. Quartermain a hand?
Not at all.
I want to see Alan and Monica here for just
don't
a
be long,
moment. No,
dear.
I won't, darling.
No.
I wish you'd be a little more discreet in front of Lila.
What do you mean, me? You were the one who said that you didn't think they were sleeping together.
Well, that's different. Lila's fashion enough to think that that's proper.
Wait a second. What is this business about the construction site?
Is something going on with you-know-who?
I think so.
You know who?
Oh, you know.
I don't know. If I knew, why are you talking in riddles?
Jimmy Lee.
What about Jim?
Oh, come on, Alan, get with it. Who else does Celia know who works in construction?
Wait a minute. You don't seriously think that he's having a...
What have you found out?
Well, I don't have any solid evidence. It's just a feeling, that's all.
Yeah, well, that's not good enough.
Well, you just think about it. I mean, when they were introduced at our party, all she's done is ask questions about him. And she's gotten very interested in the waterfront lately. And it seems that everywhere Celia goes, Jimmy Lee isn't far behind.
Well, that doesn't qualify that they're having a relationship together.
All right, fine. I would just be very interested to see how much closer Celia Quartermain and Eric Quartermain get.
I must say that would be very interesting. I mean, they are third cousins.
They are related in name only.
Well, that means that at least whatever's going on between them, it isn't sorted. Good heavens, it's just a little flirtation in the great Quartermain tradition. Yeah, nothing to worry about. I'm going to dinner.
Yeah, Father's right.
Of course. Couldn't possibly be sordid in this family. I mean, in the great Quartermain tradition, anything goes.
I still say that last hand doesn't count.
Oh, come on, don't you be a spoil sport, Edward. You handed me the fourth king. You gave me Jim.
Next time, we're going to play poker.
I don't know how to play poker.
Oh, I know that. I'm going upstairs to bed.
Well, I'm right behind you.
Miss Quartermain.
Oh, Stella, did Ellen go upstairs already?
Oh, yes, ma'am. He went about a half hour ago.
Oh.
If you're going to go up now, I'll turn off the light.
Would you? Thank you. See you in the morning.
Good night, Miss Quartermain.
Good night.
The usual?
You can make it a double.
No? Long day?
No, just fortifying myself for the evening.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Pays to be prepared.
Certainly does in this house. Thank you.
Alan joining us for dinner?
Well, as far as I know, he should be along any minute. That's timing for you.
Why would Alan be ringing the doorbell?
Because he's probably forgotten his keys, as he usually does.
Would you get that, Monica? I think Stella's upstairs with Lila.
Okay. All right, Alan, I'm coming. Really? You are... Celia is not home yet.
I'll wait.
Edward, we have a visitor, or should I say, Celia has a visitor.
Who would be visiting Celia this hour of the afternoon?
Who else?
Well, good evening.
Sorry to barge in on you like this.
Not at all. Care for a drink?
Yeah, thanks. Bourbon, please.
Care for some water with that?
No, not tonight.
How are things?
Okay.
Things going well in construction?
Yeah, just fine.
You seem to be a bit on edge today, my boy. Something bothering you?
Now, Edward, if the man wants to drown his sorrows in silence, we should let him.
Just trying to make a little friendly conversation.
But I don't really think our visitor is particularly interested in talking to both of us.
I'm afraid he's about stuck with us.
No, Alan's going to be home soon.
Listen, when do you expect her?
Who?
Monica.
Oh, Celia? Oh, of course, the blushing bride. Well, I really don't know. You know, she keeps her own hours.
Look, I really got to see her, okay?
Why don't you just come around about midnight? You can throw pebbles up to her window.
Cut it out, Monica. It's business.
Oh?
Yeah, I model for her.
You might.
That's right. She sculpts and she pays me to model for her.
I've never heard it referred to like that before.
It's business. I came here to do my work.
I don't think you're going to be doing much work tonight.
Why's that?
Because I just came from the Floating Rib, and Grant and Celia were there, and they were having some drinks.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you see, modeling is a tough business, Jimmy Lee. I mean, it's very vicious.
Yeah, I just left them. Father, did you ever have one of those moments where you walk into a place and you instantly know when you're not wanted?
Not lately.
Well, I just had one. I mean, they were very, very courteous to me, I must say, but they were much more interested in each other than they were in me.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I thought that they were having problems, the two of them.
Well, you're talking to the main one.
Oh, no, I don't really think so. I mean, at the Rib, the way they were carrying on, that's obviously all behind them. I mean, they were regular lovebirds. Couldn't keep their hands off each other.
Isn't love grand?
Lovebirds? Celia and Grant?
Oh, come on. I mean, you didn't really see them, did you?
I saw them. They were at the Rib. They were sitting there holding hands like two teenagers.
I thought you were just saying that to get Jimmy Lee's goat.
So did I.
I was telling you the truth.
Well, anyway, it worked. He flew out of here like he was shot out of a cannon.
Apparently, Grant and Celia have had some kind of mystical experience that the entire hospital is talking about.
Yeah? What happened?
Well, Grant operated on this young pianist's hand, which had been crushed, and he had a chance of losing it, but Grant saved the kid's hand.
What does that have to do with Celia?
She was there with him.
In O.R.?
I don't know whether she was in OR or whatever. She helped the boy through the operation, and obviously the entire experience has brought them very, very close together.
Well, that must have been a miracle.
Whatever it was, Grant's stature has gone up 1,000 points in Celia's eyes.
Somebody mentioned my name?
Oh, hello.
Evening.
How are you? Where's Grant?
He went back to the hospital. What's this about me?
We were just discussing family.
Jimmy Lee stopped by earlier. He said something about he had an appointment with you. He was to pose for you. He was rather upset that you weren't here.
I see. Well, thank you very much for the message. And now, if you'll all excuse me, I think I'll go clean up for dinner. It's been quite a day.
So we heard.
have you lost your mind?
Well, sometimes I think so, yes.
Why on earth did you mention Jimmy Lee? I just told you that Grant and Celia got back together again.
We hope so.
I sure do hope so. Don't forget Jimmy Lee has those papers. The last place we want them to end up is in the hands of dear Cousin Herbert's granddaughter. Yes, we heard you, Stella. We'll be there in just a moment. As I was saying, Monica, Alan is absolutely right. Now, we must keep Celia away from Jimmy Lee.
The best thing that could happen to us would be for Grant and Celia to get married. And I don't think that's going to be much of a problem, judging by the way the two of them were acting at the rib.
You don't suppose she's playing both ends toward the middle, so to speak?
Doesn't make any difference to us. Whatever she's doing, we've got to get the two of them married just as soon as possible.
Gosh, you're just such a romantic.
I couldn't care less. All I'm interested in is saving our skins.
Well, the only way we're going to do that is to get Celia happily married and out of our hair.
That is absolutely true. We've had enough drama in this life and this family to last us forever. What we don't need is to watch Jimmy Lee and Celia stroll down the aisle together.
Especially since the fact that his wedding gift to his bride would probably be the acres, which would make them possibly the richest couple on the eastern seaboard.
Which is precisely why we must keep them apart. Agreed?
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Fine. Let's go into dinner.
Listen, by the way, how are we going to keep them apart?
Well, we're going to push this wedding at every opportunity. It's up to us to see to it that Celia marries, Grant.
Oh, what's this, a reception committee?
Well, good evening, my boy. We were just on our way into dinner.
Well, I'm glad I made it then. I'm starved. Is Celia home yet?
Yeah, she's upstairs getting ready for you.
I beg your pardon?
What he means is she is changing to get ready for dinner. You know, she'd never spend as much time as she does if you weren't going to be here.
Since when?
I must say the two of you looked ecstatic when I saw you at the rib.
Well, love will do that to you.
Do what?
Our plans for the wedding shaping up, my boy. We were just saying we can hardly wait for the big day.